Welcome to the After Show. This blog style platform allows us more time to focus on specific headlines and explore trending topics. Today I'm here with Mr. Lewis, and our topic is curfew.
All right, so the first curfew in the nation was in Omaha, Nebraska in 1880, and can you guess why cities and municipalities end up putting curfews on the books?
Because it just makes more sense.
Yes, they tend to think the thought process is nothing good happens after a certain time at night, and for students under the age of 18, it's better if they are not on the streets. It's a safety thing.
Yeah, because it's dark and people tend to drive better when it's light outside, so it could reduce on wrecks.
It does reduce car wrecks because teenagers and young adults tend to be the ones who have more accidents at night. So the city of Horn Lake actually put their current curfew into effect in September of 2013.
Wow.
And their exact words were, for the welfare of the citizens by regulating the presence of minors after a certain hour at night when school is in session. And Horn Lake's runs from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. So, and that's on school nights. So what are your thoughts on curfews overall?
I mean,
as a teenager who now has the freedom to drive around, what do you think about the law?
I can see the pros and the cons. Like, I feel like it's probably a better idea, but at the same time, I feel like
it's stifling your freedom a little bit.
No, like, if somebody wants to go somewhere, they're gonna go.
Okay, well, that brings us to the penalty.
But at the same time, why do you need to be out real late on a school night?
Right. Nothing good happens after 10 o'clock that a student should be a part of. Now, we looked at the penalty earlier. Do you remember what the penalty in Horn Lake was if you get pulled into court and found guilty? $500 or
90 days in jail.
90 days in jail.
Or both.
Or both. Absolutely. Now, another interesting thing we looked at, it's unlawful for a parent to knowingly permit or allow their minor out past curfew. So the parents under Horn Lake law are liable as well. And then we looked at the exemptions because the city has carved out 9 exemptions for students where students would be allowed out past curfew. And what are those exemptions?
If you're accompanied by the minor's parent or guardian, was on an errand at the direction of the minor's parent or guardian without any detour or stop, if you were in a motor vehicle involved in the interstate traveling system.
So if you're traveling back from a trip or something.
Yeah. Engaged in employment activity, meaning coming from work or going to or returning home from an employment activity without any detour or stop.
Meaning you don't swing by the fast food joint and hang out with your friends. You come straight from work back to home.
If you were involved in an emergency, like say you're visiting somebody in the hospital. You're on the... I don't really get that one.
What number?
6.
Was on the sidewalk next to your residence or house or adjacent at your neighbor's house.
Oh, yeah, because
as long as your neighbor is not unhappy with you being on their property.
See, curfew doesn't just mean for driving. Like, you can get in trouble for being in the neighborhood.
Being outside,
yeah.
Right. So if you're on your property or your neighbor's property, so adjacent to your house, you're okay. Because obviously people like to hang out in the summers outside with their families. So that's okay. Number 7.
If you're attending an official school, religious, or other recreational activity supervised by adults and sponsored by the civic organization, or going to or returning home without detour or stop, an official school, religious, or other event sponsored by a civic organization for like football games or
and we can talk
games.
about that one for a second. This is going to be the one that most students at Horn Lake are going to be carved out as legitimate.
Yeah,
because many of y'all are involved in a lot of school activities, and let's face it, there is no way during football season that you're going to be back home by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Not even a chance. Even if it's a home game.
Right.
Not to mention the away games. Some of the away games y'all have to end up going to. Y'all get back way later than 10 o'clock. So the police are obviously lenient on that. They understand that. And so there you go.
Yep.
Number 8.
Was exercising First Amendment rights such as a free exercise of religion, freedom of speech, and the right of assembly.
All right. Most of the times, a situation like that would not happen after 10 o'clock. But I suppose that if you were at a rally of some sort and it was late at night, the police would say that you were okay because you were exercising your First Amendment rights.
Because, like, at the church I go to, sometimes they have, like, what's called Reach 1, and you stay till midnight.
Okay. Well, that would be,
like
that would also be carved out under number 7, the religious one. And then number 9, the one that you found very interesting.
Okay. Is married or has been married or has the disabilities of minority removed in accordance with state law.
In accordance with state law. So if your mom or your guardian signs off saying that you may get married or you can be a legal adult before you turn 18, then you do not have to be a part of the curfew. I don't think there'd be many students in Horn Lake that would be carved out under number 9. So,
me neither.
Wrapping up curfew for Horn Lake. Your thoughts?
It's probably for the best.
I think it probably is, although most students feel a lot of students feel like it's somehow clamping down on their freedoms, but the weekends,
my mom's not going to let me out the house on a weekday.
And the weekends, quite honestly, the weekends they're not hitting this hard on the weekends. It said specifically in the law that on a school week, so during a school week, that's when they're enforcing it. And also, we should mention during the school day.
I'm pretty sure on the weekend it's like 11 or 12.
Yeah, it goes later on the weekend. They allow students.
Much later.
They allow students out on the weekend. But also, we should mention by law, according to Horn Lake law, during the school day is also considered curfew time. So if you're walking out on the sidewalk or through Latimer Park during school, the police will pick you up and they will bring you back to school. And I have seen the police take some students that were at a service station right down the road, put them in the car, and bring them right back up here to the high school.
Yes, I remember like every time I was little and like me and my brother and sister wouldn't come to school, they'd be like so scared to go outside and play. And now I know why.
Curfew.
Yep.
So there you have it. All right. So overall, we're going to say that it's a good thing, even though teenagers feel like it clamps down on their freedom. It's for the best. The law was put into place to protect students, not hurt them. And
the only reason why, I mean, if you have a legit reason, then you're not going to get in trouble.
Right.
That's it for today's after show. Tune into our regular programming by clicking on the episodes link. We'll see you here soon for our next episode. Thank you.